Friends, today I want to talk to you about gout. It's something I've been having to fight with for the last couple of years. Never thought I'd be dealing with it, and it's basically triggered by diet. And when you go online to try to find out what foods to eat and what not to eat, you can get into a lot of clickbait stuff where you got to go through like 15, 18 pages of ads. I want to break that all down in a quick video that just pretty much boils it down. And what I've done, I've gone to WebMD, I've gone to Mayo Clinic, I've gone to several other sources to get lists of foods that you could eat. So rather than having to go there and sort through a whole bunch of pages, I'm just going to lay it down here as fast as I can. So let's get right into it. WebMD says one of the things you can do to avoid gout, which is so painful, is don't drink beer or grain liquors like vodka and whiskey. I don't do that anyway. I know where mine comes from. Mine comes from shellfish. And I'm finding out that fish that I thought were okay are not. We'll keep on going here with this is the WebMD. Don't eat red meat as much as possible. Lamb is the worst. Pork is bad. So don't eat a whole lot of pork. But lamb is by far the worst for causing gout. Also, meats that I don't eat, which are like organ meats, they call them stuff like liver. I don't eat liver, I don't eat kidneys. Glandular meats like thymus or pancreas. Some people call it sweetbreads. I've never heard them. I've never eaten anything like that, but people eat it. It can big time cause gout, and cause what it is uric acid building up in your joints because of something called purines that are in the foods. The purines cause the uric acid to build up. Generally, where it hits me is my right foot, my big toe joint, and it just radiates into the arch of my foot, and it feels horrible. I can barely walk when I've got a gout attack. I've had it 3 different times. Of course, it mentions fish, shellfish, especially shrimp, lobster, mussels, anchovies, sardines. The one that got me, I ate a lot of oysters. I used to like to get these little cans of smoked oysters and eat them for kind of high protein snack. And so for years I've been eating that, and sometimes maybe got a little carried away with it. Or I think my first flare-up was when I ate a bunch of scallops one night, and I've been eating little oysters for lunch. I just love shellfish. Shrimp, though, the last time I had an attack, not this most previous one, but was caused by shrimp. I ate a bunch of shrimp. But then I'm finding out also that other kinds of fish do as well, and even tuna. There are certain cold water fish. I'll go get over that a little bit. Sorry for my dog barking. But some of the cold water fish that are safe, like salmon and trout, we'll get into more of that here in a little bit when it comes to the things that they recommend you can eat. So you also want to avoid high fructose corn syrup products, stuff like sweetened drinks. There's some confusion here for me. Some of these sites say you shouldn't eat fruit juices or drink fruit juices. Some of them say you should. I think if it's got high fructose corn syrup in it, any fruit juice, avoid that. That's the corn syrup is what the problem is. And a lot of your juices do have that. Avoid cereal, avoid breakfast cereal, I guess particularly because of the fact that it has a lot of sugar in a lot of it. No candy. I say almost all fast foods have elements in it that can cause gout, so you might want to avoid fast foods for the most part. So this is still in the Mayo Clinic one. It says that low-fat, non-dairy fat products such as yogurt and skim milk are not bad for you to eat. Fruits and vegetables are not bad for you to eat. Nuts like peanut butter or just regular nuts, almonds, walnuts, pecans and stuff are okay for you to eat. Fats and oils, whole grains, potatoes, rice, bread, pastas, all this is good. Eggs, it says in moderation. But that's where I plan to get a lot of my protein going forward, is from eggs and from certain kinds of fish that are not, like I say, the cold water fish is what they recommend, and from chicken. Those are all, it says red meat, typically maybe eat red meat once a week. And that will around 4 to 6 ounces is what Mayo Clinic is saying. You shouldn't be affected by it. Almost all vegetables are okay. A lot of people have vilified in the past spinach and asparagus, but it looks like really although there are high purines in there, those are things that it looks like really doesn't affect gout. There have been studies that say you can eat spinach and asparagus. I try to avoid spinach because it can cause kidney stones. It's one of the worst things for kidney stones. I suffer from that as well. It says some do's. These are some do's, things you should do. It says it's good to drink a lot of fluids, 8 to 16 cups water a day or some kind of fluid. It says good to get some vitamin C. Vitamin C can help stave off the gout. So if you can drink some orange juice or something else that boosts your vitamin C. I mean, I've been putting a lot of lemon juice and lime juice into water, like Perrier or something, or just regular water. It says caffeinated coffee can cut uric acid as long as you don't overdo it. I don't drink coffee at all. Don'ts, of course, here again, it reiterates some of what it says. Stay away from sugary drinks like sodas and fruit juice, it says here, although it says go ahead and drink fruit juice in another part of it. You may also need to limit or avoid alcohol as well. It's already said that. Again, it's just reiterating. So I'm going to jump on over to what Mayo Clinic says. I'm sorry, that one was WebMD. This is Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic says the general principles of a good gout diet are as follows. Number one, it says try to lose weight. Almost all the sources I've looked at, they say, if you've got a BMI of less than 35, you're going to be at a much reduced risk of getting gout. Me, I'm at 6'2", 290. Doesn't matter how muscular I am or whatever, I'm still at a BMI rate where the gout seems to occur more frequently. So, the more you can lose weight, the more you're going to avoid it. Eating complex carbohydrates, they say, helps. Eat more fruits, vegetables, whole grains that provide complex carbohydrates. Avoid foods and beverages with high fructose corn syrup, same as we heard in the other study, and limit consumption of naturally sweet fruit juices. So I guess maybe what you want to do is drink the fruit juices that aren't sweet. Not too many of them, really. It says stay well hydrated by drinking water. It says cut back on saturated fats from red meat, fatty poultry, so poultry that has a lot of fat in it, and high-fat dairy products. Proteins, it says very much focus on lean meat and non-red meat in particular. It says recommendations for specific foods or supplements, and the Mayo Clinic one was confusing because it mixes some of the good with the bad. I'm going to go through it real quick. It says to avoid organ and glandular meats, as the other one did, kidneys, sweetbreads, liver, any high purine foods that can cause uric acid. Avoid red meat as much as possible, particularly beef, lamb, and pork. And lamb always comes up. Lamb usually comes up number one. Seafood. Some types of seafood, such as anchovies, shellfish, sardines, and tuna, are higher in purines than other types. But the overall health benefits of eating fish may outweigh the risks of gout. Now, mine is flared up every time with shellfish, typically oysters, scallops, shrimp. And this last time I ate a bunch of tuna, I got a bunch of tuna steaks. And over the course of 5 days, I ate a tuna steak every day. It was leftovers from a dinner. And so I started eating just a whole bunch of tuna, and it did cause my last attack, which was just this weekend. It's aggravating. The only thing that works for me is a steroid, prednisone, like I think it's 20 milligrams. Usually by the time I've taken 3 pills of that over the course of 18 hours or so, it's very minimal. Like it goes from debilitating pain to within about 18 hours to where I can almost walk normally again. So here again, this time I'm trying to get more serious. One of the reasons I'm doing this video is for myself. But it says high purine vegetables, such as asparagus, spinach, don't increase the risk of gout. So here again, that's what Mayo Clinic is saying. Alcohol and beer, distilled liquors can cause gout and are pretty much increase your possibilities of getting gout. So avoid alcohol. It says definitely during attacks, and limit alcohol, especially beer between acts. Beer seems to be the worst. Sugary foods and vegetables, limit or avoid sugar-sweetened foods such as sweetened cereals, bakery goods, and candies. Limit consumption of naturally sweet fruit juices. Always drink vitamin C as much as you can. It says talk to your doctor about whether you should have a 500 milligram vitamin C supplement or how that might fit into your diet. I would think it'd be good just to start eating some foods, grapefruits or oranges or something like, say, lemon juice, lime juice, something. It says coffee. Some research suggests that drinking coffee in moderation, especially regularly caffeinated coffee, may reduce the risk of gout. I just don't like coffee. It also says that cherries. There's some evidence that eating cherries is associated with reduced risk of gout. I love to eat cherries, so maybe I'll start picking. It's a little expensive depending on what time of year you can get them. Then I went on to another one. I'm trying to remember the name of the site. It was Healthline or somewhere. But I got this other one. And here again, pretty much the same thing. I just want to go through this. I want to go through this 3 different angles so you don't think I'm just pulling from one source. And we can sort of start to see the harmony in it, some differences. Some things pop up in here that I didn't hear in the other one. So this says avoid red meat, lamb and pork particularly, fish. This names some of the non-shellfish. They say herring, forget that. Tuna, mackerel, sardines, anchovies. It says salmon is okay. All the different studies I've looked at say that salmon and freshwater, kind of cold water fish, I guess like trout is what I would say, are okay. It says to avoid wild game like rabbit, venison, quail, pheasant, and goose. But you know, how often are we going to eat that? Unless you're a guy that's a big hunter that goes out and hunts this stuff all the time. You're probably not going to be eating a whole lot of venison, maybe once in a while. Of course, it throws in the scallops and shellfish, almost all shellfish, but particularly scallops are the worst. My favorite seafoods. So I can't eat my favorite seafoods anymore. I'm going to get these attacks. Organ meats, it throws in tongue. Who would eat a tongue? Liver, brains, kidneys, and sweetbreads. Again, that's like the pancreas and thymus and stuff like that. I'm not going to eat that. Throws beer in again. Beer, of course. Sugary drinks, high fructose corn syrup drinks. Forget about it. Vegetables like asparagus, mushrooms, peas, spinach, and cauliflower. Also, fava and garbanzo beans. It says they have purines in it, and they're not using this. They're not giving it as a pro. So that they're even saying you ought to be careful about asparagus and mushrooms and peas and spinach and cauliflower, dried fava beans and garbanzo beans. So take that with a grain of sand. The other two say don't worry about it so much. This one says do. This one's lumping in certain fruits like dates, prunes, lychees. What's a lychee? I don't know. Or lychee, Lychees. I don't know what that is. Plums and pears. I like to eat pears, man. I like dates. But I'm trying to limit those since I have had diabetes and I know they're very high sugary content, things that cause your sugar to spike. High-fat dairy foods, it says mostly ice cream and creamy products, so avoid those. However, some studies have shown that cheese, yogurt, and low-fat ice creams may decrease the occurrence of gout. So if you're looking, you got to have that milky type thing. Maybe you look at cheese, yogurt, and low-fat ice creams. Now here's some stars. These are some things you can look at. This is, I guess it's Healthline again. Things they say you can do, of course, lose weight. And this was the one that said if you have a BMI of over 35, then you're at a higher risk. Complex carbohydrates can help fight gout. That's fruits, whole grains, and vegetables. Staying hydrated. That says that always helps to dilute uric acid and keep levels and crystals from forming in the gout target joints. Eating healthy fats, it says a good thing. Omega-3 polyunsaturated fats. And that's where it says cold water fish like mackerel and salmon and trout may actually reduce chance of gout attacks by as much as 33%. So that's one that you can proactively do. Eating, I think it said try to eat 2 or 3 times a week, some sort of a cold water fish that has the omega-3 fats in it. Lean protein, so this is what you want to go after. You go for the lean protein. Go ahead and eat that. Low-fat milk products, eggs, nuts, seeds, tofu, cheese, cottage cheese, etc. It says drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest. This is if you have a gout attack. It had a little thing about some home remedies. I don't know if this is worth much. I do believe some of this is. I think definitely the medical person I was a PA I talked to yesterday at one of our urgent cares. He said be sure to get plenty of water and to elevate your feet. So I like that. Also, this site here says use cold compresses and soak in cold water. Soak your feet in cold water if you need to. Avoid all alcohol, especially during an attack. During an attack, say it's good for you to drink apple cider vinegar. I mean, I like it on stuff, but just to drink it, I don't know. But it says that it does help perhaps break down those crystals in some way. This is just like, say, some of the home remedy things that they say actually probably do work. One was making a ginger root paste and applying it to the joint. Another one was to make a paste from activated charcoal and apply it to the joint. I don't know. This sounds a little bit half-baked to me. Maybe it's true. As it says that something like that can help draw out the uric acid, I don't know, through your skin? Maybe. Also says, one of the things it said drinking about a teaspoon of baking soda mixed into water can help. So, and that one it said there's a bit of controversy about it. You definitely want to be careful not to drink too much. Just a small amount. Apparently drinking baking soda in water is a home remedy. It helps if you're having a flare-up. I'm just saying for me, the only thing that helps is that steroid. Prednisone will knock it out on me within about 3 doses. Here I am. I was suffering night before last. Yesterday, I could barely walk. Here it is, like I say, 18 20 hours later, I've had 3 20 milligram prednisone pills, and I feel like I'm about 90% back to normal. I can still feel that I've got a problem, and I'm still being careful and resting up as much as possible. But again, it doesn't seem to be so problematic now that I've had the pills. And but you can't be taking prednisone. It's a steroid for long courses of time. Best thing to do is let that. Usually, what happens with me, this is my third attack, is it knocks it out on me. I try to eat right. I do fine until I mess up and get on another kick of something. Like I went crazy eating tuna this week. Did not realize tuna was one of those things. So again, my problem is I've been going through situations where I know that one thing causes it and I avoid that one thing. Then I find out later there's another one thing that causes it. The first time my flare-up was caused because I was eating oysters and scallops. The second one happened because I ate a whole bunch of shrimp one night. Just went crazy eating some shrimp, and that caused me to have a bad flare-up. This last time was 5 days straight of tuna. And I'm just one of those people that gets a little obsessed over certain types of food, and so I just go crazy eating them, and that's what my problem is. So now I'm finding out, I'm making my complete list. Now I know what to avoid those purines, and hopefully you do too, and we won't have gout problems anymore, because I'm telling you, it sucks. To me, it feels like there's a knife being stuck into the joint of my big toe, and there's a pain radiating down into the arch of my foot, which I'm flat-footed sort of anyway, but it makes it where I'm almost like a peg leg. I can barely walk, and it doesn't matter if you sit or stand or walk or anything, you're in constant pain. And I would say it's a very sharp, bad pain, except that compared to kidney stones, it's maybe a 3 out of 10. Now that I've had kidney stones, before kidney stones, I would have said it's about a 7 or 8 out of 10 for pain. Now kidney stones changes your perspective on all pain. But there you go, folks. That's my bit on some research that I've done here to hopefully help you from having to go search through a bunch of clickbait. Peace to all who watch. Subscribe to the channel if you like.